Huh? Are we good? Can you see?
Sure.
Can you see?
I don't know. I'm not looking. Yes.
This is actually the first class. Can you see the video too?
I didn't want to look at us.
Am I supposed to start that? How about that?
There it is.
This is like the least amount of technical difficulties you've ever had in the first class.
It's still early.
Yeah. And this is the first time Brad and I have actually stood side by side. Usually he sits over there and answers online questions. We have some FRSecure security folks who are answering questions online, I think.
Not yet.
Not yet? All right.
Probably not tonight, but.
Okay. So welcome. I'm Evan. This is Brad. We'll go through, like I said, this is going to be pretty light tonight. We don't want to just, you'll get plenty, as you go through this. You've been through it before, so we start kind of rolling, and then it's like a snowball rolling down the hill. We cover a lot of information.
Keep up with you. Get behind the chapter.
Yeah. Well, and reach out, right? Hopefully, you guys will continue to come here. And for people that are online, if you want to come here and meet people, you don't have to come here every time. You can do it from home one day and come here the next day. This is all for you guys. There's no strings attached. There's nothing, right? Our mission is to fix a broken industry. It's not to make it, and not to make a ton of money, right? So if you stay focused on the mission, you end up making money. If you focus on the money, you never make the mission, right? So you kind of have to get that straight. So being that our mission is to fix a broken industry, one of the problems we have in our industry is we don't have enough security people, right? You probably read the news, and we'll cover a little bit of that tonight too. So for us just to say our mission is to fix a broken industry and then not do anything about it, that'd be hypocritical, right? So that's why we do this. This is the 10th year. Brad's been with, how long have you been with FRSecure?
Yeah, July 16th, so almost 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, Brad and I we spent last week together working, right? Brad, we were in Rochester, New York, working on a couple of projects together out there and recorded our podcast. You guys know we have a podcast?
Yep.
Yeah? Do you guys ever listen to it? Give us feedback. Tell us what how we can get better at that. But anyway, we'll go through tonight. We've got about 60, 70 slides. We'll make these slides available. These slides will be available after class. Usually we get into a cycle where the slides are available before class. So, but it's, these things, we have jobs too. So, you work all day and then try to get these things done, before class. What else? Brad and I are both running on about 3 hours of sleep. Right?
I got 4.
You got 4. So
it's been a long week.
Yeah. I think both of us will get a little bit more on track probably on Wednesday too. So it's good that we're going so slow. Get going. So Brad, and maybe some more later. So we had this year, it's kind of cool. So we started in 2010 with 6 students. Now we have, over 400 registered. So there's a bunch of people, online. And now we have volunteers, people from other organizations who want to help. So, that's kind of cool because these things are supposed to be
good video and audio so far.
Free. Good audio and video. Excellent. See, we didn't have any technical issues. This is the best.
I'm not jinxing it.
Seriously, I've done this forever. How come my slide isn't moving? Oh, see, I spoke too soon, didn't I? There we go. So that's welcome. And then, don't expect too much, but this will be awesome. You'll get to know us. The security people, we have a different sense of humor. Did you know that? Like lawyers have a different sense of humor? Any of you lawyers? You have to tell me, right? That's the law? Or is that something else? I don't know. But we work a lot with lawyers, so lawyers have a different sense of humor too. If you've ever had a chance to work with them. So security people, I'm not going to go there. Whatever. All right, so this is what we're going to do today. Welcome. We're going to go through what the CISSP Mentor Program is. We'll go through the history a little bit. In 2010 was our first class. We had 6 students. We actually had more students. We've always had more students than we've had employees. FRSecure is about 75 employees today, and this is our 10th class. I was talking to my wife yesterday. We were sitting on the stoop. I don't even know what a stoop is, but I think we were sitting on one, and we were just reminiscing, like, my God, it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years of seeing people come and go through this program. It's been so cool to get those requests for endorsement from people when they pass their exam. It's so cool to see where they go, in their career. So it's been a real joy doing all this. Why do we do it? I talked a little bit about that already. We'll talk about some success stories. And at the end of the day, it really is. There's no strings attached. We want you guys to get CISSPs and get jobs and be happy, right? We need more good people in this industry. And then I don't know what I wrote there. Severe talent shortage, yes, that's true. So here's our agenda, introduction, severe talent shortage problem. We'll go over what that problem actually looks like. It's been reported and reported and reported again. Some people claim that there isn't a talent shortage, believe it or not. It's not only a talent shortage, but we also have a gender inequity problem, and we have a minority inequity problem. So we have needs everywhere. And you have to be intentional. We find that out ourselves, right? Because this industry is so dominated by males that if you wanted to hire somebody who wasn't a male, a white male, you have to almost be intentional about it, right? And some people don't see that as being a problem, but I've been in security long enough, and I've worked on, I think, enough difficult problems to know that different perspectives bring more creative solutions. So you can even have, color of skin, gender doesn't really matter. It's perspectives. It's different perspectives looking at the same problem, coming up with really cool solutions. In this industry, we don't have everything figured out, right? It's still a mess. Things are still broken. We still need different perspectives. We still need to be creative. So, all that stuff is very, very important. We'll talk about the mentor program schedule. It is posted. The official schedule is posted online. So if you go to www.FRSecure.com, or you don't have to do www. Nobody does that anymore. And then events at the top, you'll see drop down CISSP Mentor Program. The schedule will be there. If for some reason something happens where we can't teach that day, either I'm not available, we have to be both of us really that aren't available, because some nights you'll just teach, some nights I'll just teach. We'll let you know through email and probably post something online too, so you'll know. It's really rare. We just started podcasting, by the way. For those of you who listen to our podcast, we've done 22 straight. We haven't missed a single one. 22 consecutive weeks. It's crazy.
It's a lot of talk.
He kicked me out of one. He wouldn't let me talk. Wouldn't let me come at all. All right, we'll talk about the book, or what is a CISSP? We're going to go through the official, it's kind of some official documentation from ISC². You guys know what ISC² is? It's okay if you don't. CISSP, you know what that stands for? Certified Information Systems Security Professional. The book, I'll give you some tips. I took this test in 2005, and it was all on paper then. It was filling the little dots. A lot of things have changed, but I think still the study method that I used worked for me. It was read the book once, not understand anything that I was reading, right? So it was like I'm reading a different language. Then I read it again, and then I was able to put clusters together. Ideas and thoughts started to form. And then I read it the third time, and the purpose for the third time was really to master it. So I did end up reading the book 3 times, and the book that was a lot thicker. It was the official book, and you've seen that one. That's like 1,300 pages. A lot of this is just memorization, right? And you'll get that. And then chapter 1, we'll go through the introduction. Another one. So first thing, joke. What do you call fake spaghetti? We got to keep this thing loose, you guys. Anybody? Seriously? Yeah. See? Dad jokes. I'm a father, so I do a lot of dad jokes.
A couple of people online got it.
Yeah. All right, that's me. So just an introduction to who I am and to who Brad is. That is me most days, just a little like off my rocker. Co-founder and CEO of FRSecure and Security Studio. We founded FRSecure in 2008. So I guess that makes it coming up on our 11th year. Security Studio. So FRSecure has this mission of fixing the broken industry, right? Security, we realized that we're not going to be able to do that ourselves. So we started Security Studio, and we really kind of invent tools and things in FRSecure and then make them available to everybody in Security Studio. So Security Studio is still very much part of the mission, but it's not FRSecure, right? It's really get it out there as quickly as possible to as many people as possible. It's got a little slightly different mission. Lots of security experience, and I say practical because I really enjoy my time I really enjoy being in the trenches. I enjoy doing security stuff. I don't enjoy speaking in, big conferences and stuff. Security stuff. That's what I like to do. So that's the practical part of it all. I spent more than half of my career on the other side of the table, meaning working for a company, and then kind of this half of my career has been, or almost half of my career has been as a consultant. The cool thing about being a consultant, if you're ever thinking about being a consultant, excuse me, is you get to see sort of the best and the worst of kind of the way people do things, right? So you can steal the best from all these places and make them your own, right? You see what's working and like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm gonna put that in my toolbox and use that sometimes. So consulting is a really it's a cool gig. What else I do? That's the mission. Fix the broken industry. Wrote a book about that. Co-inventor of Security Studio. That's the platform. Security Studio is also the company. On that platform, we have some tools and things. Co-inventor of FISA, not the FISA court thing, not different FISA. This is fiducial information security assessment. But out of that comes the FISA score, which is a risk score on a scale of 300 to 850. And it's meant to help us with our language problem in information security. If you ask 10 CISOs, even at 10 global 100 companies, hey, give me your definition of information security, what do you think you're going to get? You're going to get 10 different answers, and then we'll argue about it all day. Because we also have a lot of egos in this industry. So we have this language problem. So how do I communicate to the board? How do I communicate to the CEO, executive management, what our security program looks like? That's what FISA score was designed for. It's not the perfect risk assessment. One will never exist. It's a translation of security risk to something that people understand. So that's what we did. We have 800-ish companies. I think FRSecure maybe has 1,200, 1,300 clients now, something like that. Co-inventor of FISA score, yeah, whatever. That's me normally. That's what I clean up, and that's Teresa Simmons wrote me a nice little thing. Sometimes people say good stuff about you. She's a nice lady. Other stuff, legal counsel. So I do work with a lot of legal counsel, and I know that their humor is different because normally I'm the only one in the room with a bunch of lawyers. And I say a joke because I like to keep things loose. It's just the way I work, right? And all of them look at me like I'm the planet Mars. And they make a joke which isn't funny at all, and they're all laughing, So it's like whatever. But some of the higher profile breaches that people hear about, I've heard about Target, Blue Cross Blue Shield, or a couple of them. And that's what I did, the Special Litigation Committee, which was cool. That was a couple of years. A lot of good experience. You got to see how the inside of a lot of things that I don't think most people ever get to see. So it was really, really a cool experience. What else did I do? Criminal cases. The big ones today are trade secret cases and Chinese nationals. So yes, the FBI is prosecuting these. And the bad thing is you normally end up on the defendant side, so the Chinese national who's being accused of the crime. And I'm not defending, I'm not a lawyer. I look at, in these couple of cases, it's were these in fact trade secrets? Because if I don't protect something like it's a trade secret, I can't claim it's a trade secret. That's how it works, right? So then they hire you to say, did they protect it like it's a trade secret? So it's not very, it sounds cool, but it's not that cool. It's a lot of reading. Lots of big companies, television, whatever. That's my favorite quote of all time about me. Do you guys like that one? It's totally me. Loved it. Roger Grimes wrote that for me. It was in CSO Online last week. Roger Grimes has written like 10, 11 books. Really, really good security guy, and just a good guy. So when he said it, that means a lot to me. So that's cool. And I'm going to put it on every presentation I ever give from now on. So this is the book. So the book was published in January. It's Unsecured. It's about the things that are broken in our industry and the things I think we need to do to fix it. Yeah, I don't know, I think it's good. I didn't read it.
It's all right.
Did you read it?
Good.
I didn't read it.
It's really good.
All right, so all that, and then my favorite things. And this is important, I think, because this is really why. Security, it's about people, right? So those are our core values. You see those right when you come in the door. We live by those. They're everything. Intangibles are so important in information security. It's just, Fast 50, one of the fastest 50 companies or something. 100 best places to work, I think, 5 or 6 for the last 7 years or something like that. That's my buddy Troy, he's in sales. That's Troy and Steve, they're both in sales, they're awesome. That's Renee and Leanne, and look at Drew, look at Drew's face, he's got something in his mouth.
Director of sales.
Director of sales. Those are our security analysts, some of them, sitting in a room doing some kind of security analyst-y thing. These are my customers. The guy with the patch, he's a really good friend. I only work with one customer like full-time now, or not full-time, but like they're my customer, and it's these guys. And the guy with the patch, he's Russian, and I don't know if you know any Russians or any Russian security people. They're pretty fun. So I really, really enjoy him. And then the guy on the far right, he's Chinese, but lives in Toronto. So he's my favorite. I tell him he's my favorite Chinese Canadian security guy. And then the guy on the far left, he's from Venezuela. But when he says Venezuela really quick, it sounds like Minnesota. It's weird. That's Jim Nash, our state representative, who also works here. Really, really good guy. There's Drew again. There's our security team, doing some kind of security team thing. There's John Harmon, the president of FRSecure, is the guy with the better beard than mine. And Alex on the far left or right, whichever way you're looking. That's Brandon. We did a serious picture. I said, let's do a serious picture, like look like we're mad security people.
Looks like you're about to go, bring in the harvest.
We were good. Well, he does.
I know he
does. That's Shawn.
You look like you're ready to go.
Yeah, that's Shawn Pollard. He's the only security cowboy I've ever met. Really cowboy. He's got cows and does cowboy stuff. But he's really good at security too. We were working a couple weeks ago on some things. This is the president of Security Studio is the whiter looking guy. Well, he is. He's very washed out in that one. And his family. There's me and Brad. That's last week. It's Thursday morning. We were having breakfast before we went to go secure the world. There's our wives. We did a podcast 16. We did with our wives. We asked them questions about. My wife, she lied.
She was generous to you.
Yeah. It's people, just people. Those are people from Cancun. When I was writing my book, these are people that I met, that I lived right next to for 2 weeks. It's Don and Vicky, and just salt of the earth kind of people. You know what I mean? That's another salt of the earth person that I know from St. Louis. He owns a sod farm. Just awesome guy. There's my Chinese Canadian security guy. This is the guy who cut my hair in Cancun. Because I went down there again this year to write the second book. And then this is the most popular post I've ever made. I don't know how many, 800,000 something. This is a guy that I was flying down to Cancun, and I was thinking the second book is information security for normal people, right? People who don't speak our language, we struggle with the way we communicate with them. So I was talking to him. He's a retired 6th grade school teacher, and he said second graders know more about security than I do. So he snapped this pic and posted, and what I posted on LinkedIn was we work for him. Security people, we work for people, right? We lose track of that so much. That's Serge again. This is without his eye patch. He wanted to be a pirate for a while. This is my coffee club down in Cancun. These guys are awesome. I accidentally became part of that coffee club. I was actually sitting at that table writing, and then two of them show up, one on one side and one on the other. I didn't know anything, right? I'm writing, and they just start having this conversation like I'm not even there. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then two more show up, and then two more show up. So that day it was like weird. So, I took a break. They left, and then I went back to writing again. And then I was like, there's no way they come back the next day. Well, yeah, they came back the next day. Well, sooner, the third or fourth day, we're buddies. And we're just like talking about, and they're like, so what are you doing down here? And I'm like, oh, I'm writing a book. Oh, about what? About information security. They had nothing about what I do. Nothing. And every one of those guys is kind of a blue-collar guy who worked their butts off, right? I mean, they're not the kind of, really worked. So they could get to this point where they could retire, and none of them can protect themselves with information security. So you see how this is starting to get kind of personal for me? And it really always has been. And then this is my family. That's my son. He came back from Afghanistan. That was the first time he's ever saw his son, my grandson. That's just an awesome picture. That's me, my mom, and my son, this son over here, Joe, and my father's
Been outed.
gravesite. That's my whole family. So what's the point of all this? People. People are my favorite thing. Information security is about people, right? It's not about information or security as much as it is about people. Behind every bit of data is somebody, right? If there wasn't, then why would we be here, right? Who would care? But people do care because people suffer because we don't. And I can't say it's because we don't do it right. It's about risk management. There's no way we could ever stop all breaches from happening. But every time a breach does happen, somebody gets affected. I mean, when you told me about, one of our clients, they weren't our client until they got hit, but they got hit by ransomware. And it's going to put them out of business, and you have to sit across from the president of this company and tell them, sorry, I mean, you shouldn't have clicked. I mean, I don't know what you say. So this is why it's really important to me. And I think what makes really, really good security people are people that understand that, people that can personalize it, people that realize that when I'm working at, XYZ hospital and I'm working with medical records, those are not my medical records. Those belong to somebody. And so treat them right. Treat them the way you'd want yours treated. So that's, I think, it's a really big deal for, being a security person. Another one, so I'm only doing three things. My second favorite thing is, other than people, is my our podcast with Brad. And I told Brad this when we first started it. It's not, I can give two craps about a podcast, honestly. It's an hour a day that I get to spend with this guy. An hour each week, we get to talk. We get to talk about security. That's awesome. And then we get to record it, and some people like it. So that's where we recorded our last podcast. That was in my hotel room in Rochester. We had two separate hotel rooms. I don't know. It's 2019. I don't know what people think anymore. But yeah, it was cool. We had a really good trip out there. Did a lot of good work. So certainly the Insecurity podcast with Brad is a big deal for me. And then this is really a big deal. It's just something you do, right? To give back to people. Because what are your alternatives? I mean, when you think about it, you go get a degree. Maybe that's how you're going to get into this industry. Or that's how you're going to propel your career. That's not cheap. I don't think. I mean, I haven't been to school for a long time, but I think it's like tens of thousands of dollars, maybe, depending on the school that you go to. And so how are you going to fund that? You're going to have to pay for it yourself or get your employer to pay for it. Your employer's probably not going to pay for it because what are you going to do once you get your degree? You know what I mean? So the same thing with the CISSP. If you want to take the class somewhere, it's $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and then you have to pay for your exam as well. So here we're just trying to take that away. And I think we're also trying to instill that it's more than just being book smart. Right? It takes three things to be a good security person. Three things. Intangibles, those are things we can't teach. Education, which you can get like this. You can go to school, you read books, 10 classes, whatever. And the third thing is experience. You can't rush that one, right? So it's always intangibles, education, and experience. And so we wanted to, do the mentor program too, so we could share some of our experiences. This is what we see in the real world when we do it, when we do security stuff. So the mentor program's always been a big deal, and it's cool to see that, we just get to meet new people every time. I'd love to be able to do this year round, but it does get really tiring. When you go through this, by the end of how many weeks is it? 7 weeks, 13, 14 classes, something like that.
God.
By the time you get to the end, you'll know, yeah, I wouldn't want to do this again right now. So anyway, we'll find, but maybe this will catch on. Maybe we'll have more companies doing the same kind of thing, with, in their places. And there's Brad. So I wrote the slides for this class. So Brad gets a slide. I had like 12.
All right.
So Brad, he's even in black and white. Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but Brad's awesome. So Brad really does lead sort of the, the tactical sort of operations and innovation stuff. Is that close?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just do what I get told to do.
Well, we do, yeah.
It's like overseeing methodology and improving our existing programs and building new ones and make sure we have consistency. And
yeah. It's a lot harder said than done.
It sounds easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, a guy like me is more of like have you ever read the book Traction by Gino Wickman? Well, if you ever read it, it's a good book. It's a book about the entrepreneurial operating system and how to run a business and structure and all that stuff. Well, in his book, there's B's, that's a visionary, and then there's I's, the integrators. And every good B needs a good I, needs a good integrator, right? And vice versa. An integrator without a visionary is just a guy who does stuff. If a visionary tries to do integrator, disaster happens, right? So you do a lot more of the I stuff than I do, but you have some B in you too, I'm not an I.
I try to wrangle them.
At all.
What was the name of that book, Kevin?
Traction. Yep.
You can be both.
Nope.
Not usually.
Nope. You'll go one way or the other. All right. So yeah, CISSP program lead, workshop series lead. So we do have a workshop. We really like helping people. What do they call it? Knowledge transfer.
Education.
A lot of that stuff. Co-host of the Unsecured podcast with me. Today was his show to lead. Next week will be mine. So we alternate back and forth. He's got a lot of letters after his name. Thank God. Thank God we don't pay for a letter anymore.
So somebody laughed because I got my new title as Director of Professional Services and Innovation. They said you just picked that one, so it was as long as your certification.
That's a big one. Dang. ISC² Safe and Secure Online Volunteer. What's that?
That is for being safe and secure for kids, parents, senior citizens.
So you donate some of your time.
Volunteer and go and parent groups, go to senior citizens, the old people homes. Yeah, right. Assisted living, wherever.
I mean, I read over and over and over again. U.S. CERT just I think issued another advisory about the elderly being targeted. Yeah. I mean, was at a school's Compass programs, cybersecurity mentor. So you spend some of your time there. And passionate about information security and happy to be here. Is that true?
At least tonight.
I get that. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And then FRSecure, this is just kind of the stuff that we do. So one of the things that's really important about us is we're product agnostic. Right? I don't believe a really good consultant can also sell products. Because if I tell you your firewall sucks, and oh, by the way, I sell you a firewall, it makes me feel dirty. There's such a money grab in our industry as it is today. So we're product agnostic. If we're going to use products, we might use a product from somebody else or develop our own, but we won't sell it to you. Right? That's how it's different. Like for vulnerability scanning, oftentimes we'll use like Nessus for vulnerability scanning, but we won't sell Nessus. to anyone. And you can use Nessus, Rapid7, Expose, Guard, Qualys. What was I saying? Guard something. I was saying Guard something. Anyway. Bunch of security stuff, risk analysis. So at the end of the day, that's what security is about. It's risk management, right? So risk is very important. Social engineering services, those are fun. Pen testing, people, I don't know. Seems like a lot of people don't really know what pen testing is still, but we do a lot of that. PCI, QSA services. So PCI is payment card industry. QSA is qualified security assessor.
Oh, PCI is pay cash instead.
Pay cash instead. That's right. When in doubt,
Set me up for that
or
one.
Apple Pay. Incident management services. We do that, but
You don't want to call us for that.
just don't. I mean, call us, but don't have an incident. It's easier. High trust. Just kidding. I don't like high trust. Information security training and awareness, and V services. So the V services is one of those things where if we know we have a talent shortage problem, CISOs are expensive, and many companies in the small to mid-size market don't need a full-time CISO either. So we do a lot of V CISO, virtual CISO, kind of
You
fractional
don't have the
CISO work.
EVRM. Come on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I routed these slides to you and to Brandon yesterday and said, hey, any changes, feel free to make them. And
Who reads?
yeah, well,
Proofread.
yeah, and this is us. 70 unicorns. We're pretty. It's pretty cool, right? All right. So the talent shortage problem. Did you guys know that we have a talent shortage? You guys read that anywhere? All right. And I think it's and that's an article. I read a lot of articles too, so you'll see those around. But that's one that you can go and reference because there's no one. You see a lot of advice of, well, do this one thing. It's STEM in schools, or it's more free training, or whatever. It's not any one thing. It's multiple things that need to come together for us to kind of get over the hump on this. And there are still people who claim that we don't have a talent shortage problem. And I get where they're coming from because there are people who are trying to get information security jobs who can't get them for whatever reason. It's not because the positions aren't there. I don't know why. But we'll have to get to the bottom of some of that, right? Because I think some good people, some good companies are missing out on good people and vice versa. But it is overhyped too, right? I mean, if I say 3.5 million, that sounds pretty impressive, and people are like, oh my God, that's going to get clicks. Right? That's how the internet works, clicks, and create revenue for people. That's more sensational than. I'm sorry. Did I say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm submitted by the shortage.
Yeah. Well, you should be. So research suggests cybersecurity skills shortage is getting worse, meaning the need is growing faster. And then people will say, well, what about AI? Do anybody here know AI? Know what AI is? Artificial intelligence, machine learning. Think that's going to solve our people shortage problem? It's not, right? And the thing is too, it helps if people had more I before they go to AI. I think intelligence. If they just had more intelligence. That's security humor again. All right, so probably somewhere in the middle, but it's definitely not zero. This is from CyberSeek, and this graphic, it hasn't been updated for a while, so I'm getting a little concerned. The older it gets, the more stale it gets. But this is just a graphic that shows sort of the talent shortage across the country, across the United States. There's actually reports that other countries are much worse off than the United States is, believe it or not. But New York, California, it's probably because people don't want to go live there, I'm guessing. Virginia, that one surprised me because there is such a big cybersecurity, information security presence in Virginia. Some of the largest information security consulting companies in the world are headquartered there, but they still have a shortage. Minnesota, not so much, maybe. North and South Dakota. Yeah, anyway, that's what it looks like. This is what it looks like by metropolitan area. Nothing surprising here either. So let's put this into context. So today, and I think it's more like 800,000, 800 some odd thousand. There are 800 some odd thousand information security people in the United States. And you take that, and there's 30 million maybe people in the United States. And so you put that into context, and when you throw the language problem in the mix, it's no wonder why we're struggling to secure information. This is what we look like. Can you guys see the dot?
Not the one that says us, the one that by the arrow.
Yeah, the one that the arrow's pointing to, that's us. So that big dot is, or the big circle is the United States. That little dot is us. And for some reason, that little bitty dot is expected to secure the big circle, right? It's like mission impossible. So we got to get to work on that. These are some of the stats. So Cybersecurity Ventures, you ever heard of Cybersecurity Ventures? It's a pretty good source. How about Robert, what's his last name? Hertevek? The guy on Shark Tank. Hurt? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Shark Tank guy.
Yeah.
Robert, he's Canadian too. He owns his own information security consulting company. Yeah. That's where he made his riches. He's behind Cybersecurity Ventures. So it's good to know. One of the things I'm always like, when I'm working on security things, I always want to know the source. Like, where's the source of this information? Because seems like there's always a motive behind something. Like you guys read the news, right? Do you guys struggle with like what to believe and what not to believe? You know, so you have to go on this like fact-finding mission. Otherwise, don't even read the news. Yeah. So that's why I mentioned the Cybersecurity Ventures. I think there's good data there and there's good direction, but there's a motive behind it. ISACA. So ISACA, they run the CISM and CISA certifications. If you've ever heard of those, Certified Information Security Manager. That was your one that you had on there.
Yep.
Certified Information Security Auditor. ISACA stands for the Information Systems Audit and Control Association. It's pretty old and pretty well known. Big.
I'm glad you knew that because I wouldn't.
Well respected. Yeah. They made COBIT. The COBIT standard. You'll hear us talk about COBIT. That'll be one of the standards that we'll cover through all this. But they say global shortage of 2 million cybersecurity professionals by 2019. This is 2019. I think we did it.
We still got a couple months.
All right. So anyway, we'll see if that comes true. National Association of Software and Services Companies estimates India will need 1 million cybersecurity professionals by 2020. It's a global problem. Cybercrimes is expected to cost the world $6 trillion by 2021. That's a lot of money. And who is it? Gina Remedy, whatever. She's the CEO of IBM. Said that we are witnessing the world's largest transfer of financial wealth right now, sort of happening, not just because of cybercrime, but just because of everything else with cryptocurrency and everything else that's kind of going on. So yeah, it's kind of a tumultuous time. We need more security people who kind of know what's going on. One of the most in-demand cybersecurity roles is security analyst. That's where we take here at FRSecure, we'll hire people with no experience. Really, you know, if you have the intangibles, we can teach you security stuff. But you know, junior or what do we call them? Associate analyst, and then security analyst, and then senior analyst, and then what comes after that? That's kind of the normal progression. Yeah. So security analyst might take a year or two, you know, if you have no experience, for you to kind of get there. 2012, there were 72,670, so that's a while ago. That's 7 years. 3 years later, there were 88,000, so it's pretty fast growth. The average pay, 90,120. It's not bad. And that CISO pay is low. I've seen CISO jobs now over $500,000 with equity. So CISOs are getting paid lots of money. Well, I don't know. You're the future. 70% of cybersecurity professionals say the cybersecurity skill shortage has an impact on their organization. If you're in security, I wonder if you feel like you're overworked. If you feel like, man, it'd be nice if I had just, you know, another person, you know, to kind of help out here a little bit. These Active Directory audits are getting crazy. So, you know, that's normal. Well, it's not normal. It's the norm here. And I wrote another article too about health in information security, how to get a job in information security and then be healthy. Because what's happening CISOs are getting stressed out. They're burning out. A lot of them are turning to alcohol and drugs. So, if you're not careful, keep things in balance. That's kind of where it ends up. So 70% of professionals say that skill shortage impact. I said that one. More than 2/3 are too busy to keep up their skills. Yeah, I think we could all say that. Really, that's kind of subjective. I never feel like I know enough. I've been doing this for 25 years, and there's still days I'm like, the hell?
Yeah.
You just feel like inadequate, in some parts, because there's so much to know about information security. So I think what will happen for most of you, if you stick it out, and I say if, because it's not for everybody. I get that. You'll get into security and be like, man, it's not here. But if it is, you'll find your way, and you'll end up specializing in something typically, and you'll be an expert maybe on that one thing. That this part of this. That's just kind of the natural thing. So then when you run into other people who know this other part over here, you're like, I didn't know that. Well, it's normal, right? Because you can't know all this stuff. So 40% of cybersecurity professionals are solicited. Yep. So here's a catch-22 then for organizations who are raising security analysts. If you are growing security analysts in your own organization, meaning training them in a way, or you're investing heavily in their training, or whatever you're doing to grow security analysts, they're being recruited all the time because of this supply and demand problem. So you may end up spending $10, $20, $30, $100,000 on training a really good security person, and then they leave. And then you start it all over again, right? That's the reality. So 40%, and that number's low. I know that every one of our analysts here is getting recruited all the time. They're good. Why wouldn't they? So those are all things. So some of the things that come out of this talent shortage is we see a lot of bad advice. Have you seen any bad advice, Brad?
Yeah, never.
So the thing is, security, when you start really getting it, it's so fundamental. It's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. Mm-hmm. The pieces fit together, and it's really sort of easy to see if the wrong puzzle is in your puzzle. Wrong puzzle piece is in your puzzle, or if there's a broken puzzle piece or a missing puzzle piece. So the more you get kind of experience, the more you start to identify bad advice. It's pretty easy to find it. But I think a lot of it is attributed to the talent shortage, right? We're promoting people in information security that aren't ready for promotion, right? They're moving from associate analyst to senior analyst to, CISO before they're ready. Right? Normally that progression, 10, 15 years ago would take you 10, 15, 20 years, if ever. And now we're seeing people getting promoted to that in less than 5 years, right? So that's those three things, right? Those three intangibles. Those three ingredients. It takes intangibles, education, and experience. And you just, I think that's where a lot of the talent, where the problem comes from. So here's some advice that, I've heard recently. Information security training and awareness is a waste of time and resources. Like, really? Does anybody here believe that? It's okay if you do. We're just going to talk about it. It's okay. Because it's not. It depends on what your goal is. One of the things I also do a lot is I ask why. All the time. And we were in that meeting last week, 18 people in this room, all debating about asset management. And it's going on and on and on and on. And I was like, why do you want an asset inventory? And I was like, you could do a pin drop. It's like, yeah. And then we talked about why. Oh, okay, now I know why. Now I can build the thing to satisfy the why. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of that stuff. So if your why for information security training and awareness is that you will no longer have people clicking on your links and that's how you're going to measure its effectiveness, yeah, it's going to fail. People are people. They're always going to click. You just want to reduce the number of clicks, right? It's not risk elimination, it's risk management. So I get where people are coming from when they say it's a waste of time or money. It's because they have the wrong expectations. Information security risk assessment is not necessary for a well-run security program. I don't know how else you manage your security program according to risk if you don't do a risk assessment. You must get an information security degree to be a good information security professional. The best information security people I know don't have degrees in information security. They didn't exist when we started doing this stuff. So, and it's not to say that that's not a good thing either. There are really good degree programs, and if that's the route you go, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, if other people don't go that route, there's nothing wrong with that either. You know what I mean? There's multiple ways to become a good security person. But I've had many people tell me, in debate, well, you got to have a degree. You guys remember Susan Molden? I'll talk about her here in a little bit. The Equifax breach. Remember the Equifax breach? That wasn't too long ago. Susan Molden was the CISO at the time. Do you remember what her degree was in? Music. Yep. So she had a music degree, and she got raked over the coals. I mean, seriously. It was so sad to see because she was actually a really good security person.
I mean, I don't have a college degree.
Right.
I went and didn't know what I wanted to do, and then started working and got into computers, and I've been doing it for 20 years.
So don't let that
anyone.
Don't let that.
But you said CISOs then are best to the point when they let job posting, then they come up with 4-year degree in X, Y, Z. So I think missing out on talent then.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not that. I mean, I think if you're a CISO, maybe a degree would be a little more helpful because you have maybe a well-rounded, because you need that to get degrees typically, more well-rounded studies and things. It also probably helps with defensibility. If something bad happens, which it will, a breach happens, opposing counsel is going to want to look at, who's running your security program? What qualifications do they have? If you have a degree, that's probably going to help.
Yeah.
So.
I just went with a lot of letters after my name instead.
Yeah. I have a degree in geology. Rocks. Explains it all. And information security is an IT issue, not a business issue. That's the other way around, right? It's a business issue. When we get to what our definition of information security is, which we'll talk about tonight, you'll see it's a business issue. It's not an IT issue. Stop treating it like it's an IT issue. That's why you'll see me, I always use the words information security. And I don't use cybersecurity. Those are two different things. But we use them interchangeably everywhere, which only, I think, adds to the confusion. Because if you look up the word cyber, Google cyber. Can you Google? Not Google. You're good at Googling.
Google.
But cyber is
my job.
Cyber is technology. It has to do with technology. And so what's happened is we've fought for 20, I don't know how many years I've been doing this, a long time to finally get time with the board of directors, to finally get FaceTime with the CEO, to finally train them that this is a business issue, and then we go to the cybersecurity. Cyber means of, relating to, or involving computers or computer networks, such as the internet. That's one part of security. That's not, if people are the most significant risk, how does that play? Right? People using the computer, maybe, but IT people, have you met many IT people? Are you guys in IT? You love documentation? Good at documentation, good at training and awareness, good people. It's just a different sort of skill set, right? This is a business issue. Culture drives security in organizations. So that's why because we work so hard to get information security up to this level, and then we start going cyber. And now we're you can see it slipping. It's like, no. It's not a technology thing, not cyber, but whatever. Cyber sells. Information doesn't, because it's like more syllables. It's double syllables. All right, consider the source. I had a fortune cookie once that said something funny, but I can't remember what it said. This is a different one. This one says, eating Chinese food is more healthy for you or something like that. All right, so other things about good. So this is Susan Molden, who she actually had to go into hiding. It was really sad because if you know how the whole thing went down, when you have that many assets, in this case, IT assets, application assets, data assets, it's inevitable that something's not going to get patched. It's just the numbers play that way, right? And I'm not making excuses for her either. It was a breach, right? And things happen. But what happened to her afterwards, the way her character was just kind of trampled on was kind of sad to watch. Because she came from Sun Bank, Sunbank's a big bank, isn't it? Sunbank? It's one of the top 10 banks in the country, I think. She was the CISO there before she went to Equifax, so she had a really good past history. And there's, some of the things that, this guy who said this stuff really towards me. I actually replied back to him, but he wouldn't reply back to me. So anyway, you can read that stuff later. I think the point is, there's no one thing that makes a good security person, right? It's ingredients.
I've seen plenty of people with security degrees that had no business being in security.
We've worked with them.
Yeah.
They go get a security degree and they're like, yeah, some of the advice. You know the one I'm talking about, don't you?
Oh.
Do you?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so what makes a good security professional? Here it is again. Some believe you cannot be good without a technical degree. That's not true. Others believe you can't be good without certification. That's also not true. I know a lot of good security people that don't have CISSPs or CISMs or OSCPs, and they're very good. There are thousands of awesome practitioners who don't have that. So we define good because we like this. This is fun. I don't mind even growing a unicorn and having them go get another job somewhere else. Because you took them from a place and they're better when they left, right? I mean, I can think of numerous people we took as junior security people and they've got awesome jobs now. I mean, that's really cool. But then you have to if you're going to do that stuff, you have to get used to not being thanked for it too. Right, because they'll leave and then you just never, that was it. That if you got emotions, sometimes that hurts, but whatever. So here's the things that make a unicorn. The intangibles. Intangibles are things like integrity, honesty, trust, dependability, team player, those kinds of things that you either have them or you don't. There's also other intangibles here, like gifts. So people are gifted in certain things that other people aren't. So, we have a number of great VCSOs over here. None of them will ever be a pen tester because that's not their gift. They're just they're not technical enough, right? They're not gifted there. But those are the intangibles. So when we were just talking about that this morning on the podcast, right? Yeah. I mean, when you're interviewing, because I don't interview anymore, but when you're interviewing, you're measuring their intangibles.
Yeah,
turn down stuff we can teach.
Overly qualified people because it would have been disruptive.
Right.
It doesn't help.
So don't sell yourself short on intangibles. What you end up with is, I think, toxicity, right? Mm-hmm. A cancer in your organization, and not just that, but probably a dangerous one. Education, lots of ways to educate. Like I said, this is one way. Books. I'm a book guy, so I read a lot of books. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't work for everybody. Some people like the in-person, some people like hands-on, some people like labs. Whatever works for you, that's education. And then, certainly the experience. And then in this generation of security people, this is the hardest one for them. They all want to go so darn fast, right? They want I want to start from no experience to, I want to be, the one guy, you weren't here yet, the lead pen, you wanted to be a lead pen tester so bad. He's like, you got 6 months experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you're super duper smart, right? And super duper skilled, but he just didn't have the experience. So that's one of the things you just can't rush. And experience allows you to put things into context. One of the easiest ways to tell, I think, an inexperienced or a poor CISO is their inability to put risk into context. I'll give you an example, and this isn't a poor CISO, it was just a question that somebody had asked me last week. They asked me about their badge, right? Remember that? No? All right. Were you sleeping?
Last week.
Yeah. He asked me about his badge. Anyway, they had their pictures on their badge and the address.
I wasn't there for that.
Right? And so he was like...
I was doing real work.
Oh. He was like, he said, how bad is this? I said, well... It'd be better to not have it on there. But what do you mean? He goes, well, I think it's a really big risk. All right, well, let's play it out.
Yeah.
No,
I was there.
Yeah, I mean, let's play it out. What's the threat? I mean, what's the most significant threat you can think of in this thing? It's like, well, somebody will pick up a badge and use it to get into the building. Like, okay, so if we were to do a test, if we were to take 100 badges and just drop them, how many do you think, or just do it one at a time, you know, until whatever. If you did that 100 times, how many times do you think somebody would actually pick it up? You'd run into somebody who'd pick it up and actually try to use it to get in the building. He's like, no, yeah, probably 1, 2. Okay, so that's one part of the equation for risk, right, is the likelihood. Likelihood and impact is what risk is. So the likelihood is really pretty low. And then think about the other mitigating controls that you have in place. You have camera surveillance, you have guards, you have turnstiles, you have a lot of other things in place that are probably going to limit the damage if somebody did get into the building, right? Like, yeah, so when we say that's a significant risk, or we say it's a big risk, is that really the word we want to use compared to all these other things that we're working on right now? And, you know, you come to this realization, yeah, it's actually not a big risk. It's probably not going to make it on my list of top 100, and it's going to be really hard to justify rebadging everybody, right, for this really small risk. So on the surface, yeah, it looks like it's a big deal, but I'm not going to rebadge everybody because it's not that big of a deal. You see what I'm saying? So but you get that through experience. There's no book that'll teach you.
I don't know. The flip side is we have socially engineered companies because they posted their
but
picture
there's
of
always
their badge.
exceptions. Yeah, there's always exceptions, but you know, it's it's that kind of thing. Right.
Likelihood is not high.
No. All right, so here's our problems again: supply, acquisition, retention, culture, all big problems. So how do we solve these things? So 2 sources. Where do we get more talent? Where do we bring more people in? It's either going to be career changers or it's going to be younger people starting out their careers. Those are kind of the 2 places where we can get people. The career changers, and I've trained 60-something-year-old people in security. There's no age limit, right? I mean, if you're 70 and you can still see the computer screen, you're probably fine. I mean, you can still do this, right? If anything, you bring some wisdom with you, too, which I think we could use in our industry. So age is not a thing. Not to say you won't get discriminated against, because people are people. That'll probably happen, but don't let it deter you. If this is what you want to do for a career, do it. Attackers, but this is the thing for career changers. If I want to get out of this career and go into another career, how am I going to go about that? How do I make that jump? I need something. I need some education. And then this is a big driver for what the mentor program is. But the mentor program isn't the only place where you get free training. You guys heard of Cybrary? Cybrary is a good place to get some free training. Cybrary, Cybrary. But there's a number of really good places to get some good training. Udemy, I do a lot of Udemy training for coding. I do a lot of, yeah, like $9-10. Yep. So yeah, there's lots of good places. So the cost is a barrier to entry. So if I'm under this assumption that I have to have a degree to get into information security, it's going to cost me a lot, right? And I'm going to feel like, well, maybe it's not that big a deal. Maybe I don't want to make that jump. And we're trying to say it's good, make that jump. And then younger people. Anybody do any computer stuff with your kids? Do you ever feel like your kids know more about security than you do? You ever feel like they are more technically savvy than you do?
I hope not.
They can sure the heck text faster than you can. I know that. I mean, have you ever seen one of these kids text? Oh my God. Like their hands are going to start on fire. But it's time for us to start encouraging our kids to do more technical things, constructive technical things. And I don't think it's not social media. I've read some studies, and I don't know how credible they are, but one study in particular claimed that the suicide rate for teens has doubled since the advent of a smartphone. Because everybody's like this all the time. People aren't having these face-to-face relationships like they used to. It's all surfacey, right? And even then, it's like fake. I don't put like my crap up on Facebook. Well, I put like my cool stuff that people are gonna go, wow, that guy's really cool, but then I'm not really that cool. You see what's happening? So,
cyberbullying has a lot to do with that too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I had one with the last parent.
Yeah, you do a lot with that. What am I doing?
Don't be. where somebody's daughter at
It's
their
just so
parent,
bound to happen.
can't have no technical issues. One of their daughters was singing some song, and one line was inappropriate, and what happened? That 3 or 4 words got clipped and shared to everybody, and you can't escape it. Right? She said it was 4 or 5 months that this continued to kind of hound this 13-year-old who's just being a 13-year-old.
Yeah. So a couple of things here. I mean, even if you don't want to have a career in information security, still get yourself educated.
Yeah.
If you have family, because there are safety issues now. It's become, and now we're putting, I mean, my God, we have to patch airplanes now. I mean, we have to patch cars. We have to patch defibrillators, right? I mean, there's no authentication in the protocol. That was the last one with
Who were we talking to?
people right here.
They said they had a
Yeah,
pacemaker or whatever in their
right.
son or something that had that, and they had to replace it because there was a firmware change because
Right.
there's a vulnerability. Go into surgery to do it.
So one of the things I just started doing actually with I have 5 kids. My last one is 14. Right. So this one I'm finally going to get right. Sorry, Joe.
That's why he's in here now.
No, Joe, my kids are awesome, all of them. But we're doing Arduino together. You guys know what Arduino is? Yeah. It's fun. We're building electronics stuff together. We have to program the electronics to do whatever it is that they're supposed to do. So do more stuff like that. I encourage parents to do more technical things with their children, not be intimidated. And sometimes you kind of have to force them. Like when I'm doing the Arduino, I'm not, because you have a manual, right, on how you're going to build it. I'm not that good at that stuff, and so I have to read the manual. And 14-year-old girl's not going to sit there while I read the manual. So I have to read the manual first, and then go, okay, let's go do this thing. Yeah, look at it and explain it to her. So it's a lot more work, but it's cool. Do that stuff. So younger people, get those young people. The mentor program thing. The mentor stuff that you're doing at Wyzetta. Because a lot of the younger people too want to go the pen testing route because that's the cool, sexy part of security, right? Who wants to do policies? Who wants to do training and awareness? But we need them everywhere. So get the young people. Early education, schools, starting programs, they are working. There's those free ones, and you'll get a copy of these slides. So there's SANS Cyber Aces, Cyber A, Cyber Degrees. These are all good places to get things. Mentorship, it's difficult to find mentors. A lot of us are really busy. We're trying to, but find somebody. I have a mentor, still, like I say, like I'm like 90, but I meet him every Friday morning. It's a guy that I trust. He's not a security person. He's just a guy that I trust, who's wise, who leads, gives me good direction, tells me when I'm being a jerk, or when I'm being arrogant, that kind of stuff. So a mentor kind of just shows you the way and supports you. You'll also need that same person when things get tough, right? For those people that are, in security, that are suffering from stress and all those other things, a mentor is a great person to have to go and talk to and get some direction. So mentors are really big. It's just difficult. It is difficult to find them. You have to get, one-on-one with them, meet them somewhere, network or something. Because if you look online, there's not a lot of resources for mentoring. I found one that you actually have to pay. Did you guys see that one? You guys ever looked at? Oh, yeah. So mentorship, but then also be a mentor, right? As much as you can. Hire intangibles, and be intentional. Is that what I said? I can't read that. Internships. Yeah, internships. We do internships. Internships are cool. We hire them too, so that's cool too. I think most of them. And then we won't because, the whole story. All right, other things. Culture is not conducive to attracting and retaining talent. Some people are intimidated by security people. If you ever talk to just people on the street and say, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, I do information security. Normally, the conversation doesn't go much further than that, right? That's one thing. It does, and as you grow in information security, it seems like there's even like this eliteness to it. Like there's a club almost, where you're not part of the cool kids group. You know what I mean? It's just kind of weird. There's a bro culture in our industry. So if you go to a lot of, and I think it's gotten better over the years because it's been called out. You know, women have gone to information security conferences and been sexually harassed, like in the 80-ish percentile. I mean, a lot. So those things have changed, or are changing, because I think we're aware of it. Jane Franklin wrote a really good book. Jane Franklin, if you guys want to read another book. She wrote a book about this women in information security, and she's good. She's really good. She knows her stuff, and really good book. She broke it down nicely. So women make up 49.56% of the world's population, but only make up 11% of the information security workforce. When I said that to a guy from England once, and he goes, "Yeah, so what? They only make up 9% of the garbage, what do you call it, refuse collection or something, industry." I'm like, the hell does that mean? Information security and garbage collection are like different, right? You get that. So I just didn't get his point at all when we were talking about this. 11% is just too low. I don't know what number it's supposed to be, but I do know, there's a lot more opportunity there. 26% of our workforce is non-Caucasian or white male. These are things that people seem like they don't like to talk about much for some reason, like touches a nerve or something. But the facts are the facts, right? And I do know you have to be intentional. Like I like to use our own examples because then I can't get in trouble. I can get in less trouble because it's real world, right? It really happens. So at FRSecure, how many?
I was just looking. We have 40% on consulting.
40% on consulting, yeah, which is the part that I really care about more than, yeah. But even on our executive management team, executive management team only up until about 8 months ago was always white men, right? And so we were looking for somebody to run operations, and we intentionally, and I don't even know if it's illegal, but we intentionally went and recruited a female. That was a requirement. I'm tired of this same kind of conversation that happens all the time. We need to shake this thing up. So we were intentional about it. We intentionally sought a female to be on the leadership team, and Renee is hello, right? So it works out well. But I think the point is, don't just expect it to happen. Sometimes you have to go recruit it. Sometimes you have to go find it. Because I honestly don't recall ever I don't think I've ever recall like a black man ever applying here. You know what I mean? So I think you'd have to go rather than just wait. That's the point. Yeah. So since our industry is so male dominated, there is a bro culture, whatever. These are some quotes from people who have lived through that. I don't know what that's like because I don't have that perspective, right? I'm fine with the bro culture. I'm a bro, so whatever. Right? What? Yeah. I don't get it, but I believe the people that tell me these things.
So I like doing that initial interview over the phone. Right, so all I have is a name. I don't see who it is. Mm-hmm. Just who they are, and then they come in. Hi, Jim.
Oh, Jim Nash.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Good. Is your CISSP class?
This is. Not mine. Ours.
Well done.
Thank you.
Listen to these guys. They might know. Well.
Oh, no.
The one on the left knows more than, just listen to them.
Which way are we facing? Yeah.
His left.
Yeah. Love you guys.
Love you, man.
I like how he's very nondescript. Fight it out now.
I don't know what he's talking about. Typical politician, right? Don't tell him I said that. He gets mad. All right. More supply and demand things. We're kind of beating this one up pretty good, but there's more things there. And then just because I had, extra time, I wrote an ebook too, because I never did one, and I wanted to see how, you guys ever written an ebook before? I'd never, published anything on Apple, so I was like, I wonder how hard it is. So it's 34 pages, and it's free, so you can go get that if you want. And
Android copy?
What's that?
Still an Android copy?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. The EPUB, whatever format or something, yeah.
I thought it was just Apple and it was available.
No, this is just Apple, but I can get you an EPUB one or an Android one if you want. But this is it's just, I was playing around, so that's why it looks kind of crappy. But it's I think it's got pretty good content in it. It's 5 chapters. First chapter is just a lot of the stuff we just talked about now. Just what does the market actually look like? Is there an opportunity? Some people say there is, some people say there isn't. And then it takes you from that to getting prepared, for your first job, landing your first job, growing in your career, and then staying healthy as you do it. Those are the kind of the 5 chapters. Really easy read, I think. All right, so back to the class. Is that helpful?
Done.
You got it. Boom. Yeah. So that helpful a little bit? It's kind of, okay, I'm just trying to give some background. Like I said, I didn't want to, you don't have to memorize any of this stuff either. It's just, this is, our first class, so we take it kind of slow. So syllabus. What is the syllabus? Really, we don't have a syllabus. It's just more work for us. But we do have a class schedule, so this is where you'd find it online.
Syllabus,
We have a
kind
syllabus?
of very light.
Is this a syllabus?
Sure.
Is that what that is?
It has what's covered on each one. I thought, maybe.
We do. Oh, you're right. We do have a syllabus.
Yeah, see? We're better than we thought.
We're so good at this. All right, so the syllabus is online. That's where you find it. Class schedule, we do have a boatload of information to memorize. Truly. Lots of information. Some of it, you'll connect the pieces. Some of them will seem very disconnected. And I think together we try to connect those pieces so that you can see the path kind of through what security looks like and all that. But we did build in breaks, and you'll appreciate those. These are the break week, they're the break days. The 22nd, 5/8 and 5/27. We will lead the classes, but we'll switch things up a little bit, try to keep it fresh. You may want to hear from him more. There's certain things that he's really, really, really good at with information security that I'm not, and vice versa. So I think it'll be pretty fun. Easing into things this week, we're going to really just do one domain this week. We have 8 domains to get through. We're going to finish up tonight. We're going to give some homework for what you guys should read in the next couple of days. If you don't stay up with reading in like the Monday to Wednesday, that one's okay because you have Wednesday all the way back to Monday again to kind of catch up again. So really, the Monday checkpoints are kind of the big ones to make sure you're sort of on pace. And don't try to understand it the first time you read it. So what I mean is don't get stuck. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Make a note of it and just keep going, right? Because I think you'll have to go through it probably a couple times, if you haven't done this before. So we'll talk about security and risk management, which, I dig. We do have some other volunteers that have said that they'll teach. I just don't know how to use them yet. I've never had volunteer in the mentor program, so I don't know how to use them. And you haven't given me any ideas.
I'm going to make them answer questions online.
All right, cool. All right, so every class will be structured sort of like this. It'll be much more structured than tonight's class. We'll start off with questions. What questions did you have about what we covered in the last class, or what questions do you have about what you read? Whatever. Current events. You read something in the news or something. Let's talk about it. We'll do a quiz. The quiz. Do we take them out? We'll probably take them out of the book. So don't do the quiz yourself. We'll do them together, or do them yourself, and then we'll do them together too. Whatever. But what we do when we do the quiz is we actually talk through each one of these problems. Why it is this and not that. It helps. We'll talk about some current events, and then we'll do the lecture. That's where we'll stand here and talk about a bunch of things. You'll get to know us better. We do like questions. So if something's, you want to ask a question in the middle of the lecture, ask a question. You don't have to wait till the end to ask questions. Anytime. Just,
We'll interrupt with online when they ask a question if it's a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't hesitate.
And a lot of times when you ask a question here, we'll repeat it so the people online can hear it too. Homework, there'll be homework. It's a lot of reading. You may also decide that this book isn't enough for you. You may want to get another book too, and we can, reference, give you another good book to read to get you kind of up to speed. You really can't. you really can't overstudy, but you kind of can overstudy too. You know, I don't know if you've ever done where I'm just not going to take the test until I feel like I know everything. That's overstudying. Yeah, he does that. I'm more of a wing it guy. Like I'll take it. And,
I'll say this, when we'll go through it, but when I took it, I didn't have the support group, so I didn't know.
right.
So I absolutely overstudied.
Yeah, and let us know too. So you know how to get a hold of us.
It'll be anywhere.
Right now, yeah, we have a distribution list, and we'll help facilitate or sort of organize the study group. We just won't be able to probably lead it because we will have our other work to do. But like if we get 4 or 5 people that email us and say, hey, we'd like to have a study group, we'll announce it in class and try to get it going.
You have which book? Everyone's asking what book. It's in here, right?
Yeah, the book.
Yeah, we're going to cover that online.
Yeah, the 3rd edition of whatever that.
Eric Conrad.
Yeah. Right, and we are here to help.
You left Brandon's up there?
Yeah, so email Brandon, subscribe him to as many newsletters and forums.
So it should actually be CISSP Mentor at FRSecure.
Or just
You can
subscribe him to forums and, right, he's marketing.
Sure.
No.
If you only want it to go to Brandon, if you want it to go to everyone that can answer it, then send it to
Yeah, so CISSP what?
Mentor at FRSecure.
CISSP Mentor at FRSecure.com. That's why I put, is that right?
And we talked about it, and then nobody actually changed it
Yeah.
because.
Yep. And we'll make all these slides. Right. We'll make these slides available. These are also being recorded. So and you see on the bottom, it's Creative Commons. So share it, whatever, modify it, do whatever you want. This is about trying to help. So what is the CISSP? Now, it's been a long time since I took it, and it's been a long time since you've taken it too. I was curious myself, what are they doing now for CISSP? Has the content changed? Some of it, surprisingly, is the same as it was in 2005 as it is today. Conceptual stuff is pretty much the same. Some of the technology stuff has changed. This is cool. They didn't have this before, the ultimate guide to the CISSP. So I went out there and downloaded it. I was like, what does it say? Let's go through it. So this is, what's inside the ultimate guide. First is the CISSP right for me? I skipped over the CISSPs from around the globe because that was like all salesy stuff. Fast facts about the CISSP benefits, what I thought was kind of cool. The exam overview, that's kind of the meat, right? I think, let's get to it. That's what we want. There is official CISSP training. I've never been through that training before.
I did it. It was good.
Good.
Very. I'm gonna get in trouble if I say it's
What?
very expensive.
Expensive. Oh no, you can say expensive.
It was not cheap.
I think expensive is still politically correct nowadays. Can you say that word? I always have to be careful because I'm so not politically correct.
We're gonna come back and take my.
I just like to say the way you feel, just get it out there and be you, and that's all good. All right, so the official CISSP training, there's a pathway and some free CPE opportunities. You don't really need to know about the CPE opportunities until after you pass the exam and get certified. Then you'll have to maintain your CPEs.
And once
if you write a book, you take care of your CPEs for like the next 10 years. So write a book. Everybody's got a book in them somewhere in there. All right, so 5 years of experience. This is, I get this question, I've had this question numerous times. You do need 5 years of experience and paid experience in at least 2 of the 8 domains, okay? When we start going through don't make this, don't fret about this, because as you get through the domains, you realize how broad the actual domains are. So it's not hard to tie most experiences into some of the domains somewhere, right? But we can talk about that stuff when we get to it. If you don't have 5 years of experience, what you get is called an associate of ISC², which means essentially you've done everything you needed, you just didn't have the experience. And then once you get the experience, then you become a CISSP, right? But I think 90+% of the time we've been able to find experience, map it to a domain.
You'll be surprised when as we go through it. I mean, I know when I started, I was like, ugh, man, am I going to have enough? And then once you go through it, you're like, oh yeah, no, I like way more than I needed.
Right. So don't worry about that. And if you are concerned, just come talk to us and we'll figure it out, you know. And we also endorse. So,
Yep.
You know, one part of after going through or passing your CISSP, you have to find somebody to endorse you. Usually find another CISSP to endorse you, and we do that all the time. So all we need is your resume, and then all the endorsement now is done online. It used to be,
Oh, it's so much better now.
right? So we just give you our CISSP number, and you enter in all the information and put in our CISSP number. Then we get an email saying, hey, so-and-so wants an endorsement, and we go and review all the sort of materials. If we have questions, we'll follow up with you. If we don't, we'll just endorse it and be done with it. So it's a pretty smooth process now. But there's the 5 years. Fast facts about the CISSP. It's hard for me to read this. Can you read it? You have glasses on. What does it say from way over there?
It's bad angle. 94.
That was the first CISSP?
And then, yeah.
1994?
The latest change is that cat.
1994. Do you know what operating system in 1994?
It was NT. No.
It was Windows
before,
3.1.
Yeah, it was before
Windows
NT.
3.1 and
Was it Lisa?
yeah, that was before that even. Yeah. My first ever job in information security was cleaning boot sector viruses off of Windows 3.1 machines. Like, I don't know, 20 some odd thousand of them.
IPS was gonna be on.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Token ring networks were a big deal then too. Yeah. We could never figure out where the token kept going because what happened was somebody laid the cable over the women's bathroom fan. And so a token ring network, do you know how a token ring network works? We'll get into that one. It's in the exam. But a token ring runs, it's called a multi-station access unit, and it goes in and out, in and out, in and out. But basically it's a logical ring, right? So this token goes around in a ring, and my computer can't talk on the network unless I possess the token, right? And so there can't be a break in this thing. The multi-station access unit oftentimes would account for breaks, so it would just regenerate tokens. It would skip that port, whatever. But so often, and we could never pin it down. That's what made it so difficult to troubleshoot. The entire network would go down. And it'd go down for like 10, 15 minutes, you know, as we're trying to figure out troubleshooting whatever, and it started working again. Like, what the hell? And this would happen for like weeks. We could not figure it out. We had fluke devices, you know what fluke devices are? Couldn't figure it out. And then, we finally figured out that every time a woman went into the bathroom, it took the network down. And it wasn't one of those bathrooms like in the main common area. It was sort of off. It's a big office space at, used to be the, American Express. They have stockbrokers and stuff, financial, whatever. Anyway. Yep, it's stories. The benefits of being a CISSP, you know, there are a lot actually, and I think there's a lot that I never take advantage of. I just don't even realize that, like discounts on books. I had no idea you get discounts on books.
There's a lot of resources and stuff.
Yeah, so there is some prestige that comes with being a CISSP, I think, because even though there's a lot of us, it's kind of a gold standard, I think. I mean, if you're in security, you kind of have to have a CISSP almost. I mean, it's kind of become that popular. So you do get that kind of eliteness or whatever, you know, prestige. I don't know what you call it. Makes you feel good, maybe. And there are lots of other things, you know, with being a CISSP mentor, being a CISSP, you get to go to events. You know, ISC² puts on events. They have conferences and things like that. You could probably still go without it, but yeah, I don't go to those. But there's all kinds of benefits for being a CISSP. Certainly makes you more pay, I think, in most cases.
Yeah.
You know?
One thing real quick, we don't know if the podcast counts as CPEs officially, but I have an email out to IC², so as soon as we hear something back,
if you listen to it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Because there are podcasts that they explicitly do have listed as examples, so I would think it would, but
you'll have to write a book report.
I'm not gonna. You do. You have to say you listened to, what the episode was, and a recap.
So this is another one that I can't really read. But this is the breakdown. So these are the 8 domains. See the 8 domains? So security and risk management is the first one. We're going to cover asset security, security architecture and engineering, communication and network security. This is the most difficult one for people who don't have a technical background. I think it's easier to get into information security if you have a technical background than if you don't. Easier. I would say it's impossible. It seems to become more natural to those people. Don't let that deter you at all if you don't have a technical background. Identity and access management. Here's a quiz. Is identity management and identity access management the same thing? Right.
Okay.
Security assessment and testing, security operations, software development, security. Those will be our 8 domains. You can see the breakdowns are all pretty even. Yeah, so we're going to go through all of that stuff, and we're going to treat them all like they're pretty much even, because you don't know. I mean, you're talking 1-2%. I don't know how you break that down in pages of a book.
One of the most common questions already online is, will the older book, it's got the 2015, will it still suffice? Yes. Mm-hmm. The content didn't really change. It's just how it was arranged.
Right. So. And even the old 10 domain.
I studied on the 10 domain and passed on the 8. It was.
Yeah. So the things that we do cover will be things. Now there's a little bit of a trick, though. When you take the exam, a certain percentage of test questions will be experimental questions. Mm-hmm. So you might see something on the exam that, oh my God, we didn't cover that. I have no idea. You start to kind of freak out. Probably an experimental. Just take your best guess. You don't get penalized for guessing, and move on.
We've had 2 people that passed in the last month or 2, and they both said there were questions I'd never even heard of. It's okay.
Yeah, probably an experimental.
Although it did cause us to panic and go, oh, what did we miss?
Well, yeah, because when we're told that, we're like, really? We better find out, what that was. 100 to 150 questions because it's an adaptive test. Adaptive test means, I think, if you keep getting them right, then you get less questions or something. How many? It was 250.
250, 6 hours.
6 hours on paper. And I had to drive to Brown Deer, Wisconsin.
See, I got the CISSP in computer, but the CISM was paper. And they freaked me out. And they said, check, because they got somebody who went through the whole thing, was off by 1. I didn't know where they were at, and that was 250 questions.
Yeah,
that's
and
as if you're not stressed enough.
Yeah, and you'll know you'll know your results right away.
Yep.
You used to have to wait 6 to 8 weeks. So you take the test, turn it in, and then wait. Mm-hmm. And the more time that went on, you're like, God, maybe I didn't pass.
And then CISM was it. They actually had the internet when I took it, so you'd read online of the test dates because there was only 2 dates.
Right.
And you see other people getting results
too.
Yeah,
I went through the same thing.
Yeah, you see other people posting, I got my results, I passed, and you haven't gotten it yet. Oh, great.
Right. Yeah, so don't let that bother you when you take your exam. And we'll take tons of practice tests. We'll go through lots of practice. So don't worry about it. 100, 150, it seems like do that in like 20 minutes probably. 3 hours.
I know.
Bring a meal in, take a nap, whatever, get the car washed, come back, answer a few more.
Right.
He'll be so prepared for this. What's the other thing? CAT. So that's stuff for, foreign country things. There is the official training, so there's no shortage of CISSP training. You have this, you have other paid classes, other free classes too, right? Cybrary has some free resources.
Those are really good resources.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of places to get training. The official training, I've never taken it, so I can't give you whether it was good or bad. I've heard good, I've heard bad. So
you saw my notes from it.
Yep. But it is there. Study resources, other study resources. You got the exam outline. So the ISC² site, if you haven't been there before, is a good place to just poke around. Poke around, see, what resources are out there. The more you kind of get immersed in it, the more it'll just kind of become part of you, I guess. The pathway to CISSP. So here are the 8 domains. Again, you do need to have at least 5 years of cumulative paid full-time work experience in 2 or more of the domains. So take like identity and access management. If you've been a sysadmin and you've created accounts before or deleted accounts before, reset passwords before, those are all identity and access management functions, right? So those kinds of things would fit into that. If you've done
managing endpoint protection,
right,
reviewing logs.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, you can find ways to get the experience and still be just fine, and you're not gaming the system at all. Right. It's what it says. It doesn't say all of the 8 domains. This is the path. So first, you study for the exam. Here we are. You pass the exam. You get endorsed. You do that online, and then you become your CISSP. You'll get your certificate. Everything will be happy. And then you'll get your CPEs. Now, there is a time gap between getting endorsed and getting actually certified, and it varies. I've heard a couple weeks. I've heard a couple days. I don't know what they do from that time. Maybe they validate that we.
They say 4 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, I haven't seen it take that long, but I guess it could take that long. And then CPEs, don't worry about it. You can get CPEs doing anything. You can get CPEs going to seminars. You can get CPEs making presentations. You can get CPEs reading books, magazines. There's lots of ways to get CPEs. So for the latest, go there. 4 steps again. Meet the eligibility, schedule the exam. One of the things we didn't really talk about, wasn't really highlighted, but you do have to agree to their code of ethics too. There's a code of ethics. There's 4 canons, and they're in order. You'll have to memorize them in order because you'll see a question. I guarantee you that will be which of these are the canons or something, or put them in the right order, or you have to make a choice. Do I do this canon? Because I'm gonna have to violate one of the 2 canons.
Yeah.
And so when you have 2 canons that are,
which is the most correct?
Yeah, which one comes first is the one you don't violate, right? So stuff like that. But so those code of ethics are really a big deal for ISC squared. But we'll get to all that stuff too. So here's the book. Yours should look probably like that one. Eric Conrad is one of my favorite writers. My favorite writer for certification stuff was, what's her name? Crap, I can't remember her name now. She was good.
Shawn Harris.
Shawn Harris. You guys ever heard of Shawn Harris? Awesome. Mm-hmm. She passed away a few years ago.
Her book, that's like the 1,300-page book.
Yeah, but she was so good.
Amazing detail in that.
She was kind of a staple for a long time in a lot of certification training stuff. But if you find a Shawn Harris book, it'll be the same content too. If you don't have it, you can get it in a lot of different places. I like it in Adobe format because I can highlight it right on my computer. I can take it with me on my iPad. I can take it, So that's the way I do it. Cool. That's a dog. That's actually going to be probably your first question on the exam. So what is that? The dog. You see it, don't you? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so this is chapter 1 of your book. It's really short. It's like 10 pages. So how to prepare for the exam. There's lots of different ways. Find the way that works. Some people like, what are those things, flashcards? Do you guys, I'm not much of a flashcard guy because it's so much work to make them. And I'm lazy. But some people read again. A lot of whatever, it's going to come down to whatever works best for you in memorizing things, because so much of this is just going to be memorization. New terms you've never heard before, new concepts, like Bell LaPadula. What the hell is Bell LaPadula? Well, you're going to have to know what Bell LaPadula is. Bell LaPadula is an access control model, and it's not used, hasn't been used. I don't think it's ever been used. Well, maybe. Maybe in government systems.
I've never used it.
But stuff like that. It's like, and then it's like in there forever. Imagine the pain. You can't get that out of your head. Never use it, but it's still there. Bell LaPadula. Bibba. It's another one. Yeah, you'll know what I'm saying when you get there. But stick with it. Seriously. Don't give up. We need you. And you're going to have a good career here if you stick with it. Used to be 6 hours, 250 questions. Now it's 3 hours. We've been through that. It's CBT. It used to be paper. 4 types of questions. This is still true. Multiple choice, 4 options. So when you get to these multiple choice, I think this is still true, but the way it was, and I think it still is, you'll see your 4 options. 2 of them you'll be able to eliminate like that. They're just not in context at all. And then you'll be stuck with 2. And sometimes the 2 will be in, they're both correct, right? But you got to go with the one that the book says is correct. That's the right answer.
It's the most correct answer.
Yeah.
They go back to the canons a lot of times.
Yeah. So you'll see a lot of that when you take the test. But 2 of them you can cross off so fast. There's an advanced innovative. We'll do some of these practice type questions just so you get comfortable with some of it. Drag and drop scenarios and hotspots. So here we go. Your first quiz question. What's your definition of information security? If you don't get it right, mic drop, I'm out. Just kidding. I'll stick with you guys. All right, that's okay if you don't. Because this is one of those questions where I love asking this question, right? Yeah, ask it of a CISO. It's got tons of experience. What's your definition? We overlook the basics all the time. We just go right over them. Well, this is our definition. Information security is the application of administrative, physical, and technical controls to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. Right? There's another part of that definition that I skipped over, and that's managing risk. That's our definition of information security. So you can see if it's administrative, physical, and technical controls, where does IT fit? It fits in technical controls. That's one part of this, right? It doesn't matter how good your firewall works if somebody can come and steal your server, right? So physical controls, they matter. And administrative controls is typically the people part of security. That's where we do policies, procedures, training and awareness. It's the, I don't think it's boring, but I think if you do it wrong, it's boring. But it's kind of fun. And then it's not just about keeping data secret either, right? That'd be confidentiality. We also need to make sure that it's accurate. That's data integrity. Make sure that it's available when people need it. So it's also availability. So we'll cover CIA again, but this is a definition. You'll just remember this all the time. I love this definition. Not because I don't think I created it, but I love this definition because it hits kind of all the bases. So first is managing risk. The next question I'll ask you after we get to this is, what's your definition of risk? It's about managing risk. It doesn't say eliminating risk. It's managing risk. No matter what I do, I can't prevent all bad things from happening, right? A breach will happen. So then what do I have in place to detect it, and what will I do to respond to it? Those are important things about how security works. So it's about managing risk. Expect a breach. Expect it. I mean, it's just a function of time. So that's important. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability, we talked about that, and then our administrative, physical, and technical controls. That helps me understand the holistic nature of information security. It's not just this thing, it's all of this. So then when you have conversations or you're making decisions on what things you to do in an information security program, if you can put it into context with everything else that's moving in the program, you make better decisions, right? Does that make sense? Okay. And this definition, even though it's my definition, you'll see how it plays in the book too, right? You'll see CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. They call it the CIA triad, right? We'll cover that on Wednesday. The opposite of CIA is DAD. That's disclosure, alteration, and destruction, right? So memorization, man. I mean, just memorize it.
So much memory.
Yeah. But this is actually something functional that you should not forget with information security. There'll be stuff in the book that I'll tell you, memorize it for the test, and then just purge, because you don't need it again. All right, so what's our definition of risk? If security is all about managing risk, then what is risk?
Lessening your exposure or measuring your exposure.
Yeah, it's good. I give you kudos for answering. Yeah, that's what I do. All right, so yeah, it's close. So likelihood and impact, that's it. In layman's terms, it's the likelihood of something bad happening and the impact if it did. Where things can get a little bit more hairy is, in order to determine likelihood and impact, we have to take into account threats and vulnerabilities. So a vulnerability is a weakness in a system, a weakness in a control. If there's no threat that could compromise that vulnerability, there's no risk, right? Do you see how that kind of works? And we'll cover this some more, but these are the things that, like you do a risk assessment, we do this stuff inherently, subconsciously, all the time, every day. We just don't do it with security. Like when you drive your car and you're coming up to a yellow light, you do a risk assessment. You don't think about it, but you do it, right? You come up, should I go for it? Should I stop? Are there cars coming? Are there cops? You're calculating all these threats and vulnerabilities, and then you make a decision. You just made a risk decision on what you're going to do. It's the same thing with security. It's just we didn't grow up doing security. We grew up in the backseat of the car with mom and dad. We grew up with cars. We grew up with these things. So it just comes naturally. So I really do think that eventually we can condition ourselves to be much better at this as just, people.
I'd say the best part after going through this class is you will look at everything differently and annoy your spouse or significant other to no end.
Yep. It's true.
It's a benefit.
It is a benefit. All right, so here are this is bonus stuff. And I think it's just helpful. Won't be on the exam, but these we have 10 principles, almost 10 commandments that we live by here at FRSecure. Not only do we have our core values, which are up on the wall, we also have these 10 principles. And we need to keep ourselves honest when we're doing our security work. Don't forget these things. Don't forget that a business is in business to make money. Yeah, you might find the biggest risk ever, and you're like, oh my God, you got to do it, shut it down. It's a business decision, right? I've been overruled so many times on my recommendations on what you should do about this risk, but at the end of the day, I don't make the decision. Security people don't make risk decisions. Mm-hmm. We're not supposed to. We get forced to sometimes, but it's the business. My job, I only have 2 jobs when I'm a CISO. I'm a vCISO right now at one global company. That's the only one I work at. I have 2 jobs. One is to consult the business on risk, giving them the best possible information. And then when they make risk decisions, my second job is to carry out those risk decisions to the best of my ability. That's it. That's what I do. It's a business decision. Information security is a business issue, not an IT issue. Information security is fun. Hell yeah, it is.
Everyone having fun, right?
Well, they're not. I am.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, it's my principles, dude. I'm having a blast. No, it is fun, though. We tell people on projects all the time. We were out at an enterprise client last week. We said we're going to have fun. They're like, yeah, whatever.
They're looking at like 4 days of talking to us, going
2 days in though, we're laughing, we're having a good time, we're having fun. You can be serious about security and still have a good time. People are the biggest risk. Compliant and secure are different. You knew that, right? We just went over our definition of security. What's our definition of compliance? This one's even simpler. It's just doing what you've been told.
Checkbox.
Meeting up standards.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I always think of compliant. Whenever I hear the word compliant, I think of my mom telling me to clean my room. That was compliant. Just do what you're told. No common sense in information security. This is a good reminder because when I'm talking to people about information security, don't just assume that they get what I'm talking about. Right? We speak different languages sometimes. When I look at what some people do, and I'm like, how the hell could you ever have done that? Well, because in their perception of things, in their view, it made perfect sense, whatever they did, right? And, so you have to remind yourself often, because this keeps you patient with people too, that they haven't spent God knows how many hours, studying information security. Why would I expect them to be an information security expert? Right? It's my job to help them with that. Secure is relative, so this is really hitting at the point of managing risk, not eliminating risk. So if secure means no risk, that's not possible unless you just shut down and get rid of everything. So it's always got to be measured on a scale. Right? We use the scale of 300 to 850. It's impossible to be an 850. It's impossible to be a 300. Mathematically you can, but practically you can't. You wouldn't be able to operate a business at an 850 or a 300. So it's got to be somewhere in that scale. Information security should drive business, so we're always looking for opportunities to not be a cost center. Can we leverage the investments we're making in information security to get more business? Can we use it as a competitive advantage? Can we use it to reduce complexity in the environment? Because after all, complexity is the enemy of security. So if I can make processes a 30-step process that's very insecure, make it a 3-step process, which would make it probably more secure and save the company money, that's a win, right? So it's looking for things like that when you're doing security. It's not one size fits all. So just because XYZ company is doing this and DLP and blockchain and blah blah blah, it doesn't mean it's going to work in my environment. And there's no easy button. It's a lot of work. Like it's a lot of work.
I mean, I can't buy the software that guarantees compliance?
Nope. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. I mean, going back to our other one. I mean, if you enjoy it, it's not work. And I had to learn to enjoy it. It just didn't come natural to, you start seeing things work and seeing things click and seeing pieces fit together, and it became really, really exciting. Now my wife,
lies on the podcast.
She lies, basically. So they work many more hours than they actually do. And that's it. So that's what we wanted to cover tonight. Pretty lightweight. You didn't have to memorize anything. All the stuff that we covered tonight, we will cover again. So there wasn't any like, oh, I got to remember this, got to remember that stuff tonight. I think if you took 2 things, maybe 3 things away, one is commit to it. Don't give up. You can do it. I've seen people, we did it.
Right.
And then try to remember that definition of information security. That's going to be something that you just want to, it'll just come natural after a while. But that's really, really important. And in your definition of risk, I think those 3 things were, kind of takeaways for tonight. Yeah, it will seem hard. Oh my God, there'll be times when it'll be so dry. It's so dry when I'm talking about it. I'm like, my God, I hate talking about this. That's okay. That's just part of it. It's part of the thing. I mean, seriously.
There are some that it's just.
There's some where I swear I'm standing here reading the slides to you because I hate it so much. It's like, I don't, but you have to get through it. It's on the test. That's stuff that you can purge. And some of it will seem overwhelming. Homework for Wednesday, get the book if you don't already. And, if you like the paper one, get the paper one. Otherwise, you can get the online one in seconds, right? Please read chapter 1. That's pages 1 through 10. That's just what we just covered. We'll be covering chapter 2, domain 1, this stuff, on Wednesday. And I actually do like this stuff. Security risk, compliance, law, regulations, business continuity. That's pretty fun. And then if you want to follow me or Brad on Twitter, you can always get us there too, because we're tweeting something about something.
Barbecue.
Oh God, barbecue. Do you guys like barbecue? Does anybody like barbecue?
So much.
We should do one night where we bring our barbecue things in.
There you go.
We both use the same smoker too. I mean, security guys. We should bring our smokers in and cook up some ribs one night, right? That'll get people coming.
That'll definitely get a full class.
Yeah, cause
we can't tell them though. It'll just be a surprise.
No. You guys ever been to Rochester, New York? We went to 4. We had 5 straight nights of barbecue. 4 different places.
Wow.
So in Buffalo, it was Fat Bob's.
Yep.
Really good barbecue wings there.
Highly recommend.
Then we did Dinosaur barbecue in downtown Rochester, and then we went to Sticky Lips. And went back to Dinosaur, and then we went to a place called Good Smoke.
Good Smoke.
Yeah. So if you want to know Memphis, I can tell you where to go. Memphis too. Memphis, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is a client of ours, and every time I get to go to Memphis, oh my God, the barbecue is so good.
We'll make sure we just share pictures everyone wants to go online if they can have some.
I smoked.
We'll pan the camera. Everyone's just got barbecue all over their
I
face.
smoked,
You're onto something. One of my buddies is like, how many people in the room? Can I come to barbecue?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
come. I smoked hamburgers on Saturday. Never done it before. I mean, I smoked a lot of meat, but never done hamburgers. Holy buckets, that was good. At the smoke ring, I said,
Yeah, it was
come
really
up here
good.
and see a picture of it. I'd never seen anything like it before. So good. All right, anyway, any questions about tonight, about barbecue?
When can we expect like the slides to be available?
Typically
Tomorrow?
within, 24 hours, usually the next day. So it'll finish recording, then Brandon will come in tomorrow and
Yes, that's
process
good
it
smoke.
and make it out. You'll get an email though. Just check your email, and as soon as it's available, you'll get alerted.
The slides
Dinosaur.
for the PDF, or the PDFs, are those going to be available earlier?
Is what?
So
The slide deck?
yeah, the slide deck will be available, and then after this first class, you'll get the slide deck before class.
Do you like barbecue? Check this out. That's what I did.
How did it turn out?
Yeah, it was so hard.
Yeah.
I know, it was good.
It's like, you don't hear a lot of people smoking burgers.
Never done it. It's good.
So online, we'll know on Wednesday. We did have everybody. We actually had like 26 or 27 people register to be in class. Obviously, we don't have that tonight, but there's also some basketball game. So we're gonna wait till Wednesday.
Oh, that's right, it's
Yeah,
tonight.
we'll wait till Wednesday to see how that actually fills up. But
Oh yeah, if you're gonna be a security person, give up sports, man.
it's on in the
You'll
background.
be working, there'll be an incident response come up, something.
But I would say we'll send out an email with where we're at. But there will be seats available. People tend to not be able to make it. Things come up. But
Yeah, and do get a hold of us, if you have any questions. If you think of something after this, I really wanna see, the people that want to pass the CISSP, I really want to help you pass the CISSP, so you let us know what we can do.
how many did you endorse from this last class?
I don't know,
I remember it's
6,000-7,000 maybe, 20,000, I don't know.
20 or 25.
I get a problem with the decimal points I'm moving. Yeah, it's either 2 or 200,000, I can't remember. No, it's a lot. All right, well, thank you guys, and enjoy your evening. We'll see you Wednesday, 6 o'clock. We're usually ready 5:45-ish. If you want to come early and just chit chat too, you know, you catch us. Thank you. Thank you. Stop showing. Stop. Stop. Did I stop? Oh, I stopped. Did I stop? I think I stopped. Stop recording.